Yo, what's up? It's Allan, CEO and founder of the Hooper app, in the studio with J Haleem.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy J Haleem, and we are back with another episode in the studio once again. And this one gonna be like a kickback because I got my bro in here, man. Listen, I met this brother when I got to Vegas a couple years ago, and just been chilling ever since. You know, he's been a great spirit, playing for the love of basketball. Me being a semi-basketball player when I was younger, because, you know, we get too old to be riding high off our high school glory, like Al Bundy. I scored 14 touchdowns in a single season at Polk High. But, you know, I am a basketball guy. My son's a great basketball player, but he is an ex-professional basketball player and just a basketball aficionado and entrepreneur now. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, y'all give me, you know, and him a warm round of applause. My brother here in the studio with me for the first time, brother Allan Purnell.
Thank you.
No problem, brother, man. I'm glad that you're here. Listen, man, let me tell you something. I love to see your story because a lot of people don't talk about the people like yourself. You know what I mean? We always glorifying LeBron's, which I think LeBron should be glorified. He not better than Jordan, but I had to take my shot. Yeah. But for everybody who hear me say that, who think I'm a LeBron hater, no, I love everything about LeBron James' story. The problem is he's a unicorn.
Right.
It's more of you out here.
Right.
You know, it's more professional basketball players had their shot, doing their thing, still good people, still business owners. They probably went and pivoted. Rest in peace to the great Junior Bridgman, who just passed away, who was an NBA great, ended up becoming a billionaire through business. You know what I'm saying? Going to Wendy's and magazines and everything else. $1 billion portfolio when he died. We don't talk about the realness enough. We worry about the unicorns.
Right.
So having a brother like you around, being able to learn from my son growing up playing ball, I show him the app.
Yeah.
I talk to him about, hey, listen, if it don't work, I'm not trying to say your dreams, you can't have your dream, but we know it's a lottery ticket to make it to be
Harder
a professional.
Yeah.
Exactly. Some people can win a lottery easier, right? And I try to tell him that. And I'm like, but you could be like Allan. You know what I'm saying? You could be like this person. You could be like that person. So, again, I'm going to start all over. First, thank you. And just tell everybody about your story, how you got started basketball, became a professional, and where you are right now.
Yeah, like you said, I wasn't the big name. I wasn't the highly recruited. I was a regular dude, man. I grew up in Orange County. I'm about 6'3"-ish. I played the post in high school.
Yep.
You know, in Orange County, you're 6'3" with a little bit of bounce. They're going to put you on the block, and that was me. But I saw more for myself. You know, I didn't want it to end there. You know, I had a real solid group of friends who, you know, we had dreams and aspirations, and mine was to play in college. And even though the odds were against me, Orange County people isn't a hub for basketball, especially in, you know, late 90s, 2000s. We had some people come out of there, but it was extremely hard to get noticed. But I didn't let that bother me, you know. So I played. I did well at my high school, but I went to a high school that wasn't known. Wasn't on the map for any way, shape, or form. So no matter what I averaged, nobody really cared, right?
Yeah.
So I went the junior college route, which most people look down upon for whatever reason. You know, people look down on the JUCO, you know, going that route. So I went JUCO. I was there for 3 years, actually. So I gray shirted. For those of you who don't know, a gray shirt is when you go to school part-time, so you still have your eligibility. I did that because I transferred in the middle of the year, so I had to sit out a year. So I did that. Played really, really well. You know, got recruited by, you know, a lot of schools here on the West Coast. Ended up going to University of Pacific. Really, really cool school. My basketball experience, I didn't play at all at University of Pacific.
Wow.
I mean, I played maybe 3 to 5 minutes a game. You look at my stats, they're horrendous. So I keep it 100 with that all the time.
No, yeah, you should.
People are like, yeah, you played, but I didn't see your stats. So, I didn't play. I don't want people to think that, like, I was some a big part of the team.
Before you finish that, I had to cut you off. What do we feel about this era where everybody can look up something?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like they try to see like for what?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, hey, look. It don't even do them no good.
Right. Yeah.
They're not journalists.
Yeah, right. You're like, hold up. Yeah,
they gotta look just for I remember I liken that to a story I had in my life. Growing up in North New Jersey. Yeah. We loved Jay-Z growing up, right? And Jay-Z was like the epitome of if you didn't do what he said, you weren't cool, right? So Jay-Z would say, "Oh, I don't drive 4.0 Range Rovers. I drive 4.6. Right. So I remember us broke jokers sitting on the corner watching somebody drive by with a Range Rover. That ain't a 4.6.
Yep.
They ain't a 4.6. Like, why?
Don't matter. Any kind of range.
So,
so I did that, went to Pacific. So we were ranked 15th in the country. We went to the tournament twice. Great experience. And for me, since I didn't play a lot, practices were my game. So, I love playing basketball. I love competing. I got a lot of respect for my teammates because of how serious I took it. So fast forward, I graduated college, didn't know what I was going to do. A couple months after that, I get a call. One of my friends put me on a coach who was at one of our practices in college who says, hey, you want to come to this tryout? Mind you, I wasn't in shape or nothing like that, but I was like, sure. So I went to vet camp, was there about a month or two, got cut. But it, sparked something in me. I was like, you know what? Had I trained, I'd be right up here with these dudes. So I took the summer, trained like crazy. Ended up playing for a team in Alabama, ABA team. Just kind of bounced around the semi-pro circuit for a couple years. Landed in Santa Barbara for a semi-pro team there, which I absolutely loved. Actually met my wife there. Got a chance to go to China on 2 separate occasions. Played in Singapore. So
love it.
Would have never thought that coming out of Orange County, not getting recruited. Not being known, but that drive and work ethic helped me, continue my basketball career.
I love it. Every time I hear your story, I love it, man, because, this is what would be other kids' route.
Oh, tons.
Like, if I didn't know this stuff existed, otherwise I'd have kept playing basketball. Right. It's like, because they were talking NBA or nothing.
Yes.
And I went to one of those types of schools, like nobody's paying attention, didn't have the greatest coaching staff. But just could have kept playing. Yeah. And then before you know it, could have been playing somewhere, then you stay in shape. For a longer period of time in your life. People who play ball or be, athletic in their 20s, 25, 26 years old, they stay healthier longer. You know what I mean? They stay in shape. Nobody talks about that. It's like either you make it or you don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how does that help your career prior to, we're going to get into your entrepreneurial venture, but how does that help your career, just playing ball, throughout your 20s and things like that?
You know what? It was a challenge because after you graduate college, nobody's telling you to go to practice. You know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing is that discipline is who's going to tell you to work out? Where are you going to learn this? Kids nowadays have trainers like we were talking about your son at a young age. I didn't have a trainer until after I graduated college, so I didn't know nothing about that. So it was hard getting, finding that routine, finding a trainer, finding an agent. I had to do it all on my own, man. Yeah. So I think that helped me a lot in my entrepreneurial endeavors because I had to do so much on my own. As far as, okay, which team am I going to play for? Do I want to go to this tryout? Shit, they're charging, sorry about that. They're charging me $500 just to go to a tryout, and I might not even make the team. So am I going to go to it? Is it worth it? So it's a lot of stuff I had to figure out on my own. Which I'm thankful for now because it's those battles you got to go through. How do you stay motivated when, you're kind of doing it by yourself? So
you just told us something.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you got to pay to go to tryouts.
Oh, a lot of them do. So a lot of them, what people don't know is teams will have these huge tryouts. You pay for it, and that's what's funding like the team, whether it be coaches or other things. They bring in hundreds of people, but they already have their team pretty much set. They'll pick maybe 2 or 3, come to vet camp. Oh, sorry, we got somebody else. He, came out of the league or he came from overseas. We're gonna take him instead. Sorry. So it happened to me a couple times. So
wow. Yeah. So you got 100 people. Yeah. $500 a pop. They done made that money. Pick 2.
Yeah. Right.
And then y'all done funded them for the year, and then they gonna go get some sponsorship. So this is AAU. Before AAU. Right. No, this stuff comes from somewhere. You know how you watch those those Spacely Sprocket shows and all these stuff, and now you see we're living in the Jetsons now. And you say, hey, this stuff come from somewhere. They didn't just make it up.
No, it's a business model.
What they're doing with AAU came from what you saw.
Same thing.
Wow,
man.
They
try out, and they're like, we kind of already got our team in our head, but It's easier than having to go fundraise and do car washes or sell
Wow.
candy on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You have a tryout. Make kids pay for it.
Man, let me tell you something. That was crazy to just, I mean, you just blew my mind because they're doing this for adults.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, I get it. I get the business model.
Right.
But what's that like once you found out that you could be taken for a ride like that? Because, I mean, you say you did it a few times.
Yeah.
But when you got hip to it, what was your thought process once you kind of got hip to it?
It was a moment where you find out basketball is a business. I played for a team in Alabama, one of the first ABA teams I played for. Loved it out there. Knew the coach well. He recruited me to go out there. So I packed my stuff, drive all the way out to Alabama. 30 hours, by the way, by myself. So anyway, 30-hour drive.
The hustle,
I get out
the grind.
there. Yeah, I get out there. Things are going well. I'm averaging like 15, 16. I'm starting. And then I get cut. And there's people on my team who've never seen the court ever. And I'm just like, how you cut me when I'm starting, I'm averaging this? Like, what's going on? And they're like, well, such and such is from Alabama. He's got his family, his friends coming to the game. You're from California. You don't have the same kind of fan base.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh,
wow.
so it's a business. You're bringing in fans who are buying merch. They're paying for tickets, all that stuff. Whereas me, I'm out there doing my thing, but I'm not bringing in the actual fanfare that they needed. So that's when I'm like, this is a business. Even when I went to China, played well, but I'm not the flashiest person. I'm not dunking on people, crossing people up. But I'll hit you with a mid-range pull-up. I'll make an open three, like stuff like that. I'm efficient. You know what I mean? So it's a lot that goes into it that's more than basketball, which, I had to learn on my own. This
tells us a lot, you know, and I can't wait for some kids to see this because they got to watch their favorite player that was in the draft that you just knew was going to be going. Think about a Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
Who is no reason to logical people why he wasn't playing the way he was playing.
Yeah, it's killing.
And, you know, with Golden State last season. But, you know, that's probably the answer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not as flashy. He's not this.
Right.
Think about how Jason Tatum didn't get playing time in France. You know, hey, there's a lot of people over here.
It's marketing stuff.
And people don't want to see Tatum as much. He's great.
Right.
He's a great player, but they don't want to see him like they want to see Steph, KD, all these other people. Even with ball, they say that he's a superstar, but he's one of the quietest superstars. Yeah. He don't have no controversy. You know what I'm saying? He's not doing anything. So you probably just answered the question for a lot of people who don't know that behind the scenes.
That's what people talk about, the face of the league. That's why they're having trouble finding somebody, because you got to have personality. You got to be good on and off the court. Do people resonate with your story? It's more than just this guy can hoop, right? It's gotta be, what else can the kids identify with, right?
Yeah.
You know, so it's crazy.
What's some of the other things that you saw? Because now I'm thinking about that. Wow, that just blew my mind. You know, that kids probably need, or parents might need to work on with their children if they want them to play professionally. I'm not even saying NBA because it's so many other ways that kids can make money playing basketball now or any sports. But what's something else that parents need to hone in on?
I would say training, with the way training has blown up and gotten so popular with everybody having trainers at this age. Don't fall for the gimmicks. I know a lot of, I have a basketball training app, so I see everything, and there's some people who are out there for the flash. They're not doing the basics. They're not doing ladder drills, but they'll have 2 balls, 2, 3 balls, doing all kinds of stuff that you'll never, ever use in the game situation. So I think that's a big thing where being a trainer has become such a business in its own that you got to watch out for the fake. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing I would, definitely tell parents is do your research on these guys. A lot of guys will just, say, hey, you know what? I played JV. Let me start a, training program, so taking what I learned from, no disrespect to those people at all. I don't want to make it seem like that. But, there's people who are experienced, who live the life, and you can kind of tell by what they post if they've played, what their experience is. So that's something that I think is even the AAU game, like I said, with teams, so easy to pop up and build a team. You know what I mean? Like anybody can just get 8 or 10 friends and put together a team and say, hey, we're going to play in this tournament. But just be conscious of that and taking advantage of it because it's become such a business. Like never before. So,
What's your take on AAU? I know we've talked about this off camera, but I want people to hear what's your take on AAU?
I probably sound like an old head, man, but it's just like, AAU used to mean something. You know what I mean? And nowadays that anybody could be like at the Vegas tournaments out here, there's 500 teams there.
Yes.
And they play every single week in July. Every week, 500 teams all over the country. So I think it's very watered down now. And that's unfortunate because, when we were playing, you got to play against guys, and there was a guy, you know, from Vegas, there was a guy from Washington, maybe you guys match up. You don't really get that anymore.
Yeah.
You do in certain tournaments now. They got EYBL and three stripes and those kind of things, but AAU in general is just everybody does it now, so it doesn't seem special anymore.
That's a good thing that you said, because I was going to ask you, is it special now? Because when you have the EYBLs and you think about a person like Kanye Anthony, right? Who didn't make the high school All-American game, even though he was the number one player in New York. Is it really all it's cracked up to be now? Or
even with the rankings, it's like you could be ranked in three stripe, you could be ranked in EYBL, then you don't make the All-American game, or you make the All-American game, you don't make the Jordan game. It's like, you know, who knows?
Yeah,
it's such a popularity contest now that it's hard to tell, you know, who's the realest out there. You know what I mean? And now when we played, it was, okay, I want to see these two guys play against each other to see who's the best. Now, you know, even in the NBA, one thing that bothers me is the best players don't guard each other anymore. That drives me crazy. So you're waiting to see these matchups in the playoffs, and it's like, oh, we got to save him for offense, so we're not going to have him guard such and such on defense. You know what I mean? So it's like that with AAU now, too. They don't, like, pit each other against, you know, the best of the best.
And everybody, do we blame LeBron for that?
It's crazy, man. So, I mean, like, with AAU, I don't know what the fix is, but there's too many teams. But what are you going to say? You know,
I think the fix for me, and you're a professional. I played AAU ball when I was in high school, and I'm with you. We had to earn it. I'm from Jersey. We probably had 4, maybe 3 teams. I know we had like 3 legit AAU teams, and then we had one up and coming one. Shout out to my man OG back home, Zoo Crew. That was like one of the first people that started their own. You know, this is a group of people who used to be in the street, took their money and created a AAU team. And so that was like something that didn't happen before, you know, but other ones was organized AAU that everybody sanctioned. But you had to be invited. You had 100, 200 kids in the gym, and you got about 4 slots.
Yeah.
And if you ain't make it, you ain't make it. You know what I'm saying? You might get on the radar because you probably did good. You wasn't good enough, so next year they might want you.
Or next year, though.
It'll help you. You know, some coaches from other high school teams might be there, so that'll help out for you just being invited there. But everybody ain't get taken to play on that team now. You know what I'm saying? So it was a different situation. But I think the fix is the high schools.
Yeah.
I think that we have to start really getting focusing on these high schools and them focusing on these athletes more, because back in those days, the high schools had the power.
Yes, you played AAU to get you ready for high school.
Exactly. And a lot of kids are like skipping school.
Yeah.
I'll just play AAU and then I'll worry about going to the league. Where the schools weren't getting, the schools can get funding now. And if they want to get that funding and even help out parents, like, you know, hey, pay for the kids to go to a Gorman, you know, or to these big private schools. Not letting these parents breaking their neck trying to pay some money. No, get them in there and let them play. They don't got to at least having a scholarship or something like that. Or bus them over to your school. You know what I'm saying? Where they got to go across town. Do something. But I think that taking it out of the schools, because these kids still got to have an education. I'm not happy with the state of education the way it is. That should be overhauled too, but that's a whole nother conversation. But at the same time, I think they still need it. And then also the camaraderie with building a team, playing with someplace for 4 years. Because how you expect them to not be playing one place this sophomore year, junior year, senior year, then go to college, and now look, NIL, they jumping in the portal, and there's no consistency. Then they go to the league and don't stay in the team. So nobody in the fandom goes away.
Right.
Football fandom is everything. Basketball fandom is waning because it's about the player. Nobody has anything to the team. Very so it starts in high school. You know, dedicated to the high school, dedicate to a college, dedicate to a damn team. It's okay to get traded, but damn, you got people averaging 30 points want to get traded next year. Like, right. You know, build it up. So that's what I think the fix.
That's what I think is hurting college a lot. I remember saying, okay, this kid's a freshman, he'll be good next year, but he's not going to be on that team. You know what I mean? Remember, such and such as that Duke next year, they're going to have him, they're going to be killers, and all of a sudden everybody's gone. So.
Do you think the coaches are under pressure, the college coaches are under pressure because of that?
Away. Well, it's crazy because they win. It's the pressure of how do you win and keep the kid happy and stay there. Because you win, your kid gets, does well, he's going to say, hey, I can go to such and such and make more money.
Yeah.
Why am I going to stay here? You know what I'm saying? So that's the hard part about it. I don't know how these coaches deal with that.
Yeah.
Now these college kids have egos like they never had before, because before it was, oh, I'm not playing. What am I going to do? So now it's like, if I'm not playing, I'm out of here. And I'll go play, from D1 to D2, make twice as much money, whatever they got to do. So it's hard to keep that in the reps.
These college coaches are getting paid so much money now with the basketball situation. I actually like this move when Danny Hurley decided not to go and coach for the Lakers. What did you think about that?
I like when the college coaches can stay there, and I like his experience, especially because he just won. So I like that he had okay, I'm just going to try to run it back. Let's keep doing it. I like keeping that there. We need coaches that are more grounded like that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I think, his basketball pedigree, I came up behind him, because they're from Jersey. They're from Jersey City, right across literally the next exit from where I'm from in Newark. So they're a couple years older than I am, but I remember playing, and their dad, was like one of the greatest coaches in the country at the time, Bobby Hurley Sr. So you had to know about them, but I think it was the basketball pedigree. Again, going back to the high school, and then he coached at St. Benedict's, which was one of the best schools that was in Newark, but one of the best schools in the country, high schools as well. I think that grounding, that's what gives me my thought process. Is why he's like, nah, I'm good. I ain't want to go there for the circus.
Right, exactly.
I'll stay here where I can do what I need to do.
Yeah.
And now you even got what's the New England's coach, the football.
The new one?
No, the one who went back to Belichick,
yeah.
He even went back to college.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
You think we're going to be seeing a lot of professional coaches going back to college?
I would like to see that, because it helps the kids. As a kid playing for an NBA coach helps a lot. And that may keep them around longer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that knowledge they could pass on it earlier, I think, because these kids are going to the league at 18, 19 anyway.
Yeah.
So if you can get an NBA guy, Bibby's at Sac State. NBA guys. So seeing these guys, and even with players becoming the GMs at these colleges. I think that's going to help. That's something new, too. That'll draw kids, make them hopefully want to stay longer.
I love it.
We'll see, though, man. It's all up in the air now. Everything's so new.
Hey, y'all, listen, I'm getting this brotherly conversation going on. All we missing is a couple beers and a big screen TV. So I got to get it in. I got my bro in here. I got to get it in right now. Oh, man. But, we got to talk about Hooper, man. So he is an entrepreneur. Y'all know this is an entrepreneurial platform. We definitely like to big up our entrepreneurs. But one thing I love about it, not just because it's my love of basketball, but it's a black man in tech.
Yeah. Right.
So let's talk about Hooper and what was the idea behind, creating this app.
A lot behind it. Selfishly, it was for a kid like me who didn't have resources, grew up in an area where I want to get better. How, what am I going to do? Who do I learn from? There's so many kids, like you said, the regular kids out there, right?
Yeah.
That don't have the trainers, that aren't the 5-star kids, but love to hoop and want to get better. So training's always been, I was a trainer for about 15 years. Yeah. So my whole thing is, as a trainer, you could only reach, your community, your city that's there. At some point, you max out, right? Yeah. I got to a point where I was in Huntington Beach in California. We got to build that program up, but I can only train so many people at a time. Yeah. So how do I reach more kids, more people, and grow that? There's a lot of training apps out there, ways to train, YouTube, Instagram, all that. But the community part is what was missing, I thought. Yeah. We're a big basketball community. As I played, throughout my career, and as I coached, we all became coaches. We all kind of know each other, but we don't all keep in touch and share what we've learned. Yeah. You know what I mean? And as a community, as a black community, that's one thing that we do is we pass on to the next generation. So it's easier for them, right?
Yeah.
So there's not enough of that in our basketball community. As you become a trainer, it becomes competition for kids. Same thing in AAU. So much competition, which is good to a point.
Yeah.
But for the kid, it's not as healthy. If I say, hey, you can only train with me and you can only get your knowledge and learn from me, that's hurting the kid, is what I'm thinking. So the idea was to get a platform where you could learn from anybody.
Yeah.
And it's up to you. Now you're accountable for what you learn. You can't say, hey, I'm in Buena Park. There's no hoopers in Buena Park. Nah, now you can go reach out to somebody, in LA, Washington, China now, see what they're doing to improve your game. So the idea is just to build a community where we can all share, big on community learning.
Yeah.
Not just one person. I can learn from you, learn from anybody else, because it'll help us all grow together. Yeah. So that's the main idea behind it.
So what were some of the roadblocks? Because building the app and getting into tech, it can't be easy.
So one, I have zero experience in development, coding, apps, everything. But I didn't let that stop me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like, this is something that's needed in our community, So that was the biggest roadblock. What am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So finding out a place to start was really hard. So my story is, my wife was pregnant. We had our daughter, so I'm sitting at home for a month, right? Month or so, nothing to do. But
during COVID?
No, but right before COVID.
Okay, cool.
I'll circle back to COVID. So anyways, while I'm home, I'm like, man, I'm trying to work out. What do I do? So I'm downloading apps. I'm getting charged all kinds of different, fees for, okay, this is my conditioning one. This is my, a full body one. This is abs, a bunch of different apps. I'm like, why isn't this all in one place? Why do I got to download 10 different apps for one workout? So I said, hey, let's put it all together. Like this kind of translates to basketball, right? Let's make one app for everything. Everybody could be in there. So had the idea of making initially it was for all sports. I've played baseball, soccer, but I'm not a aficionado on those, right? So I'm like, I know basketball. Let me, talk to a couple people, see what's up with that. So I ended up doing a lot of research, like, okay, let me wireframe it out. How do I want it to work was the first thing I had to figure out. Okay, what do I want each button, each thing to do? So I kind of sketched it out, had an idea. But still, one thing was a big hurdle was finances. I didn't know, where I was going to get this money from. So I kind of shelved it for about a year or two, just kind of thinking about it. Then COVID hits. COVID hits in 2020. So that happens. People are at home, obviously, but they want to play basketball. I can't just sit at home and not do nothing. What do I do? So I get calls and texts from kids saying, hey, coach, can you send me a drill? Send me a drill. I'm like, sure. And I started recording stuff, and I'm like, wait, but how do I send it to you? What platform am I going to use? What's the best thing to do? I don't want to have to use YouTube for one, Instagram for one, Facebook for another. Like, why don't because all the kids aren't on that. So like, what if we had one platform that I could share this with everybody, and they could see what I do, I could see what they do. So, light bulbs. I get back on the grind. I'm like, hey, this is going to work. Because there's so many, and it's not just my team, but all the other coaches were going through the exact same thing at the exact same time. So like, hey, this is an app where we can share everything together. You know what I mean? All in one. So that came about. So now I have an idea. I get quotes. I'm like, how much is this going to cost to develop? So cost comes in tens of thousands of dollars, whatever. So I'm like, I don't got it, man. So, God works in mysterious ways, man. Like, I'm sitting at home, COVID, and we get a call to go on a game show. We're applying for random stuff, whatever. We're at home doing nothing. And my wife and I go on a game show, and we win.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
So I'm like, okay, now, like, my only roadblock is me just being scared, basically. So once I get over that hurdle, I'm like, you know what? I'm going in with it. Let's see what happens. And then, we get to developing it. That took about a year or so. Then we had to redevelop it and change some things. It took about another 2 years. Then we tested. Okay, are we going to pay for it? We had to test the business model out. And then it was a paid version at first. So me being, okay, when I was training or as a kid, I wouldn't be able to afford it. So my goal is I want to reach everybody. So we said, you know what? In February of this year, we said, let's make it free. The idea is to reach everybody. We want to get everybody in the app. Our slogan is your game, your voice. So we want you to be able to feel like you can contribute to the community. I don't want any barriers for it, even if it's 99 cents a month. I don't care. I don't even want to deal with that because I don't want you to feel like you can't be a part of this basketball community because we all come from time where we couldn't, we couldn't do something because we didn't have the finances, whether it be shoes or jerseys or playing on a team. So made it free, and then so now we're still going through it, still building. Still roadblocks, we're still trying to get our marketing situation, still trying to get funding and still trying to scale it. So there's always going to be something, but, we're still fighting at it.
No, I mean, but you just broke down some amazing things because me as a business coach, me, as a trainer in business, and people think this is easy. People really think this thing is easy. Everybody just go and start your own business. Just go do this. Like this, it's not like that. It is not that easy. And you just going through all the steps. You're talking about everything you're going. Then I'm hearing the years. It took a year to do this, and a year to do that, and then 15 months and 6 months. And this takes time, but congratulations that you're continuously still doing it. I love it, man. Tell me about some of the people that that has become your competition. Like who are you trying to take down? Who you?
So it's weird because us being a community app, I can kind of get around that because if there's trainers and training apps, I'm like, hey, we can work together on it, because me promoting you is promoting Hooper at the same time.
Okay.
So I can kind of like get around that competition thing. There are other, the big giants, there are Instagrams and TikToks where everybody's used to posting their content on there. So getting them to switch over, and it's not necessarily a switch. We all have 5 to 8 social media apps on our phone, right? So it's just like, hey, you have your niche app for every little thing you do, right? You have Instagram, Facebook, usually family and stuff. You got LinkedIn, jobs, stuff like that. So this is basketball.
Okay.
We're not competing with you guys. You know what I mean? We're our own niche.
Yeah.
Within the basketball training like realm of apps, there's some other ones who do stuff that's similar. I don't want to name them. I don't want people to, look them up.
No promotion.
But there's none of the free promotion. But there is there's some that I like what they do. But I think our lane is more being community based, and that everybody gets involved. The fact that it's free helps a ton. And then like I said, we encourage you to look out to other trainers. But we're saying is, hey, instead of going to X, Y, and Z is right here. Yeah. You don't have to go other places. You know what I mean? So that's what we're trying to do with that.
What about the social aspect of it? What's the social component of it?
So the social component I love about it is because, right now one of my partners is in China right now. So ideally the social point is getting together in one community to see how each other train, right? We're only good as what our resources are, really. So if I can see what, if somebody can see in China can see what we're doing in Vegas, I can see what they're doing out there, whether it be here, New York, Chicago. We got a lot of people in LA and the Orange County area. We got people in Texas. So the social aspect is being able to connect with these people in real time to see how they're improving their game. Because they could be doing something different. When you're on the app, I just posted something the other day looking at all the different tools people use. Yeah. Like people use the plastic bag over the ball now, which is, still kind of catching on. They're using heavy balls. They're using something called the dribble stick. They're using the drift cart, which is this thing you push and dribble at the same time. So people are using a bunch of different things. So having that access to see what people are doing is eye-opening to me. And I wish I had it as a kid, because I didn't
Don't we all?
Yeah, I know, right? So now to go to one place and just browse, like, let me click on dribbling and just, damn, look at what they're doing, dribbling 2 balls, all this stuff, and how it's functional. Maybe you use one thing, maybe you don't. So it's having that option is awesome, I think.
Are you able to create friends and things like that and communicate, message each other?
Absolutely. Okay. So we have a chat feature where you can message anybody. My favorite feature is our teams feature, whereas it's like, let's say you have an AU team, you have 13U, 12U, 11. You can create a separate team and say, okay, 13U guys, I have my 15, 20 guys in there. These workouts are for you guys. 12U, this is for you guys, or beginner, intermediate, advanced. But you can post stuff to your different teams for different workouts and different situations. That's something that we do that the other apps don't do as well, I think, is having that teams feature. And I like calling it teams because, everybody can contribute to it.
Not on Microsoft Teams.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So monetizing, what's the game plan? As much as you can give out.
Main game plan is a lot of advertising dollars, sponsorships, endorsements, things like that. With it being free, like I said, we are looking for advertisers because we think with basketball products, it's easier. Like you can post stuff on Instagram and your Facebooks, right? But let's say you have a new shoe, or maybe you have that one thing that's new is that ball that's like not leather, it's like airless or something like that. So now you have an audience of all basketball players. Yeah. The other ones, other platforms are hit or miss. If you have, basketball training, you could try to define your filters. But this one is 100% basketball. All people who train, all people would use those equipment, whether it be t-shirts, shoes, training equipment, brands more than anything. We all have our brands. Now you're doing your basketball training drill. You're showing your brand each time. Like all that's available for people to see. So I think it's very attractive for those advertisers, whether it be small businesses, kids trying to get NILs. Like, hey, I'm on this platform as well. You know what I mean? So a lot of that kind of stuff.
I love it. And are you looking for other rounds of funding?
Yes.
Okay.
Not even other rounds. Our first round of funding.
Okay, so, well, there you go. Okay,
we're still in our seed stage.
It's
I did bootstrapping, so I did a lot of it out of the pocket. But you can only do it so much. I have a family, I work a full-time job. Still. Yeah. So, I'm bootstrapped a lot of it. But we're in our funding stage now. We think the app's at a point where we're ready to scale and take on a bigger audience as we get more users and content. And the feedback we're getting has been great with it.
Yeah.
You know, people love it. All ages, skill. My daughter's in there. She's 6. You know
Love
what I mean?
it.
So I get a lot of time. People will say, hey, I want my kid to start playing basketball. What's too early? You know, I get that a lot. And I'm like, hey, you can start as early as you want. You know, here's what she does. She can't reach the basketball. She does ladders. She does, you know, footwork stuff. So, you know, it helps a lot of those parents and coaches and whatnot.
I love it. I love it. I mean, again, one of the biggest things for me that I love about your whole situation is that you don't miss a step, and you're not skipping any.
Yeah.
You're not skipping it. I mean, like, even if you like what you're noticing, you're not trying to skip a step, but you haven't. Your story hasn't missed a step. You went through every single thing. You deserve everything you get. That's why when you took that step to go out to that, game show, y'all won.
Yeah, right.
You know, you didn't skip a step.
Right,
so you were due for that blessing. And look what you're doing with it.
Right.
You're not Louis Gucci Prada. Yeah. You know, you ain't screwed off. But you went and reinvested, and not just into yourself, but into the community. So when people do that type of stuff, they're supposed to get what they supposed to get. When you start talking about God and things like that, I'll be like, yo, stop talking about God help your car start. You put gas in it. You know what I'm saying? Right. You put gas in it. It ain't messed up. So that's why I started. God do stuff like this.
Yeah.
Reward individuals that's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And they reward, and God's rewards is stuff that you can't quantify. Like, you don't know what you did to get that.
Right.
You can't go back and say, oh, I did this, I did that. No. I was doing what I was supposed to do, so I was prepared for that blessing. I got myself prepared for the blessing I was receiving.
Right.
And so now you keep bootstrapping. You keep doing everything. Last time we talked about this, you're further ahead.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
And so that means you're getting prepared for some seed money.
Right.
People trying to get on Shark Tank
and
barely don't even have a damn concept.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So you understand, like you said, you're working a job. In my book, the first thing I tell you, keep your job. Keep your job. You know what I mean? Like, why y'all think that y'all can just go outside? You're going to hit people upside the head and make money? Like, no, go make some money, take that money, and then do what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's a scary world out here, and we just making it scarier because we want to make it harder on ourselves.
Yeah.
We're, using our passion, but we're passioning ourselves into the poorhouse.
Yes, exactly.
Can't nobody tell you that you're not passionate about basketball. You've been doing it all your life.
Right.
But you still a man showing up taking care of your family too.
Right. It's the number one priority, right? Yeah.
Yeah, man. So speak to just the experiences being an entrepreneur in tech, and what type of advice would you give somebody else trying to follow your footsteps?
I would say don't be afraid. I think for me that held me back a little bit is just the fear of, okay, I don't know it. You could, with now the way the world is, you have resources and access to everything.
Yeah.
You can learn stuff. You can YouTube videos. You can join LinkedIn networks.
Yeah.
I was at Summer League, network with a lot of people, and I'm an introvert. So, you just got to put yourself out there. But, I would say, put yourself out there, learn as much as you can, but the fear, I think, holds a lot of people back. Once they see, like, even me, I'm looking at, Instagram, they got billions of people. Will I ever get there? I don't know, but what's stopping me from trying? You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fail. I was watching a clip yesterday from some football coach, and he was giving a lesson to his team, and he's saying, hey, I give you permission to fail, because that's how you're going to learn. And I was like, man, that's a great comment to make, because people are so afraid to fail that they won't try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's like, hey, you're going to fail. That's okay. And I think getting over that, we're all have that built-in fear of that for whatever reason. For me, I just had to get over it and just try it. And especially in the tech world, for me, there's not many of us, so that's even another barrier.
Yeah, that's why I definitely want to tap into that.
You what's your history with this? So that's something you just got to get over. So, you just got to learn. We're in a position where we can learn a lot. with AI and all this stuff. There's so many tools out there we can use. So being black in tech is an honor. Because there's not much of us, I'm hoping we can. Being at Summer League, getting to meet more people and seeing how small it is, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's something that we're all going to get into at some point.
Yeah.
Whether
you ain't got no choice.
Whether you like it or not, it's going to be a part of your life.
Yeah, you got to do it, or you're going to roll over and just die in the corner.
You got to embrace it. So, enjoy it, embrace it, learn as much as you can. Read, but not just, tech books. Read, I like reading books on philosophy, or, I like reading self-help books. I read my tech stuff, I read a little bit of everything, well-rounded. So, basketball is just a tool to sharpen your tech and stuff like that overall. So, just stay with it and don't be afraid, I would say.
One thing I would tell you is that you don't need to be Instagram.
Yeah, right.
And I want to tell black people that. We always see Facebook, Instagram, all these other people. You don't need what they need.
Right.
You know, I can only imagine if you say, okay, Facebook or Instagram has, 5 million people a month. If you have 5,000 people a month paying you, your life has already changed.
Right.
So when you think about that, I'll tell somebody, stop thinking about it.
Yeah, right.
We have to learn how to run our own race.
Yes.
Their race is not our race.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? So, and me being a business guy, what is your break-even analysis? Not their break-even analysis. If 5,000 is going to get you into profit, that's all you need to worry about.
Right.
Don't worry about 5 million or 50 million because they got it. That's their break-even analysis. When we get to that, because I was just talking about this with somebody about the awards. They just said at the time we were recording, not too long ago, they canceled the BET Hip Hop Awards and stuff like that. And I said it's because we're trying to compete with the Grammys.
Right.
We're trying to compete with these other people. Like, no, we should be happy we got our own thing.
Yeah.
And if 2,000 people show up, that's enough for our community. We got 13.5 million people here. We don't got nowhere near, out of 500 million people, it's only 13.5 of us.
Right.
No, I'm sorry, 13.5%. I'm sorry,
right.
of the amount of people. So you got 13.5%. We don't need as much as you need to win. We still trying to get them though. We don't need as much.
Yeah.
If your little bodega got 500 people coming in there, you're winning.
Yeah.
But we like, nah, I ain't got 5,000.
I'm not McDonald's or.
I listen to places like EYL who, oh, you ain't got 200,000. You got $200,000. They ain't no money. If I drop $200,000 on Hooper right now.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
That's some money, right? That's gonna change Hooper tomorrow. We got to stop listening to that. You know what I'm saying? We have to stop listening to that as entrepreneurs, as black entrepreneurs, because we can't never celebrate our wins because it always seems like it's not enough. If you make $1 million in 5 years, you did something. You know what I'm saying? If it's 10 years, you did something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's $100,000 a year that your business generated.
Right.
From scratch, something you created.
Right.
Oh, you ain't making $1 million a month. So the hell what?
Right.
So I want to encourage you and any other business owner, especially jumping off the porch, run your race. Yeah. If it's just to replace your job, if you're living off of $100,000 a year salary, which that means you're not bringing home the whole 100. If you can generate 100 tax bill without before taxes on your own, you won. Forget what they talking about. Now, the second thing is you got to do what you're supposed to do with that money.
Yeah.
But again, celebrate that. You won. You eclipsed your salary. You've been able to create a situation to take care of you and your family on your own. Now your job is to start taking care of other people if you want to keep going into business. Now is hire some people,
right?
And do something with your community, get ingratiated in your community, give back. Then that's what entrepreneurship looks like. Entrepreneurship is not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's a freedom mechanism for you and for other people. And when we learn that, that's when we can be great. Hooper has that baked into it. Now we just got to tap into it as a community.
I agree 100% with all that.
And listen, man, I'm so happy with what you're doing. Of course, you got my support, you know what I mean? And keep me in the loop of what we can do to support from a monetary perspective as well. And I say that on camera not to be BSing nobody. I want to say that so that I'm tracking myself. Hey, we want to be active supporters of what you're doing with Hooper. Let everybody know how they can get on the app, how they can find it, how they can donate. Get one of them dope shirts, which I need one too. I need a couple of them. Yeah.
So you can find me on, Instagram, Hooper. Of course, you can find me to download the app. It's in the App Store or the iOS Store. Just type in Hooper Basketball app. Pop right up. Download it. Like I said, it's free. You create your profile and you're in the community. Give me a shout out on there, AP12, AYEPEE12. You could also find me on Instagram, same thing, AYEPEE12. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm all over. So, reach out to me. Love your support. If you want the merch, we have our online store. It's at lionesque.com/Hooper. So you can find our merch on there. Support it that way. We got a lot of cool designs, unique designs, designs that represent your game on and off the court. We got a good little streetwear line that we're hoping, is going to take off as well. So, definitely reach out.
Hey, listen, y'all already know. I tell y'all, I always keep upgrading every show. And y'all got a chance to watch me have a real Saturday morning college football conversation with one of the bros. So this is how I go. We just mentioned a nice cold beer and some wings and stuff like that. But other than that, we did it without the big screen TV. We did it right here in the studio with J Haleem. Of course, please, if you haven't already, go to the YouTube page and subscribe. In the studio with J Haleem. Subscribe. Click the notification bell so that y'all can know when my brother going to come on there with the show, and every other person that's been on here supporting us in Vegas with the second iteration of In the Studio. This show has been going on for almost 10 years. You know, we just switched coast, and we just so happy that we've been able to bring it to Vegas seamlessly, and it's been a dope situation. Of course, y'all want to follow your boy, go to www.jhaleem.com. I am J Haleem on all my social media platforms. Tap into me. Hey, holla at me, see what we got going on. You see, I'm rocking with the right people. Yep. So, you know, you got to get down. And look, it's been a phenomenal time. See us on the next one in the studio right here. Talk to you soon.